Broad Branch Distillery reached out to me about a rye they had made, and everyone I let try it absolutely loved it. So I reached out to them and said, "Hey, making some content, but I would also like to come to the distillery and take a look around, do some recording, make a video." So that is this video. Everybody I met there was awesome. I got to try some crazy stuff. The proof on this thing, some of them are high. My first bottle of Broad Branch was actually a hazmat bottle. Shout out to Tiffany, which you'll see in this video. Tiffany and Joanna came out and joined me. We walked around the distillery, talked to the head distiller. I got the folks in charge to give you a little spiel about it as well. So that is the story. Enjoy.
I'm Natalie Spinoza,
And I'm Anna Wyndham.
and we're managing partners here at Broad Branch Distillery.
And sisters.
Yes.
Broad Branch started about 10 years ago with our dad, John Fergakis, and a longtime friend, Nick Dumas. They always wanted to build something together. They knew they wanted to make something. They just weren't sure exactly what that was going to be. And they settled to own a distillery. Our dad always believed in doing things the right way, even if it wasn't the easy way. So our motto around here is 53 gallons and a whole lot of patience.
Where we can't compete with the big guys in terms of volume, we can 100% compete in quality. So we don't cut corners. You don't have to put them on a boat. You don't have to play music to them or rock them around. All alcohol wants is peace and quiet, because there's enough going on in those barrels. I mean, the second a bit of oxygen finds its way in, chemical process starts. And then for the better part of its life, with heat, it goes faster, but even during the cold months, stuff's happening in there, just all over the place.
So I see like some Cooper's Reserve and I see some small batch. Like, are you seeing a big difference?
So I will tell you this, that initially we tried all sorts of barrels. John, Anna and Natalie's father, was in distribution for years, wine, beer. And so he was, knew a lot of people in the wine world. And we started with Sanguine Moreau barrels and Tonnerio, which typically are used in the wine world, but both of those companies have options for distillers. I mean, the only difference is they're going to put a char on it, and it'll be American oak. And then eventually we got into ISC because they were cheaper. But what we did find out is this, because we tried, kiln dried, they had all kinds of like wave stave. They were trying to expedite the process, right? So they would cut waves in the staves, more surface area. There was several other options, char ones. And what we found out, and of course you got to wait a long time to figure it out, but we put those barrels with the same juice in them, and 5-6 years later, the air dried barrels, the staves that were air dried, I think we've done 18, 24. 18 is kind of a sweet spot. There's a huge difference. It develops, I don't know, it's not that the kiln dried were one dimensional by any means, but it just seemed like it's the difference between like regular TV and 3D. You know what I mean? So we do the air dry, and it's more expensive, but in my mind, it's worth it.
As he stated here, air dry staves is the preference for most distillers. And the reason why is it imparts just a better flavor. Kiln dried is the new approach, and it's not necessarily better, but it is cheaper. And I know you're thinking, how is that cheaper? Because air is free. Wouldn't that be cheaper? Well, air dried takes longer to do. And as we all know, time equals money.
Unfortunately, as time kind of passed, once they started this, because it was a late in life plan, Nick passed away and our dad hasn't been good health. So my sister and I have taken everything over, and we're just really honored to get to follow in our dad's legacy.
Yeah. Laid the foundation for everything here, as far as, knowing that what you're going to put into something, you're going to get out of it. I know you mentioned the barrel size, but we know our farmers, he really worked hard to search for the grain that he was looking for that made the best product. The barrels, the people that work here, we're all like a family here.
So all of our rye is grown in Washington State, which is about the farthest point we could pick in the U.S. from us, and that's massively expensive to ship cross country. So we got with a farmer in North Carolina to see if he could grow the rye, which he could, but it turns out the rye that we get grown, that is grown for us in Washington State, has a hit of mint, like Canadian ryes do. And that same exact seed grown in North Carolina, and we had it grown in Pennsylvania, had a hit of dill where that mint would be. So it's 100% terroir, which is bizarro. But the good news is we'll be able to, because we produced it, one year we'll be able to release our rye grown in Pennsylvania, Washington State, and North Carolina.
2020 was definitely an interesting time. We went right into making hand sanitizer. I think we were one of the first people in the country to offer that for free to the people around town. We continue to do that until the FDA no longer allowed us to do so.
So for those that don't know or aren't aware, during 2020, the distilleries were given an option to create hand sanitizers to basically stay open and have customers coming in. In order to do that, they basically had to register as drug makers because they were making hand sanitizer. So you have to pay a fee to the government every year to do that. All the distillers stepped up. They started making hand sanitizer, and you could basically come by and get it. That was the best way they could stay open. They could also sell a little liquor on the side, I think. Some places, depending on the state, probably. After all that happened, the Food and Drug Administration was like, hey, by the way, you owe us a $15,000 fee for doing that. That pissed a lot of people off. It didn't take very long for that to be rescinded, though. So Brian Harrison, HHS chief and staff, said small businesses who stepped up to fight COVID-19 should be applauded by their government, not taxed for doing so. I'm pleased to announce that we have directed the FDA to cease enforcement of these arbitrary surprise user fees. But it still caused a lot of issues in the community. But it also helped them some because it got people to realize where the distillery was. And then once things calmed down a little bit and they opened the doors, clients poured in.
As far as customers, we stopped having any kind of customers doing tastings or any cocktails on site. We did bottles. I would say probably picked up, our bottle sales picked up as far as straight to customers, but we lost a lot of our own premise, which would be the bars, the restaurants, and some of our placements in the ABC stores.
By giving away the hand sanitizer, we ended up getting a whole customer base because a lot of people were coming in that just really wanted free hand sanitizer and had no idea that we were here. And we continued to let people bring their bottles back and fill them up. So we ended up with lots of repeat customers that way.
This was also fun. They have barrel 666 sitting in the warehouse and a patron saint over top of it. I just like funny stuff like that. One thing we got to try was a chocolate bourbon. I've never had bourbon that tastes this much like chocolate, but it was pretty fantastic.
We are open 7 days a week. Thanks to North Carolina law, we can now be here on Sundays. We can sell bottles on Sundays. Distillery is the only place in North Carolina you can buy a bottle on Sunday.
So what we're referring to here is blue laws. Blue laws refer to a restriction of an activity on a certain day, not necessarily Sunday, although that's typically the case. Virginia was the first one to enact a blue law. This was in 1617, and the blue law pretty much mandated you to go to church, and it was enforced by the militia. During the 19th century, activists also started to use this blue law thing to create laws against drinking on Sundays. This is a big thing in the South where we live because they didn't like immoral activities on a Sunday. We want to do a full episode on this, so if that's something you're interested in, leave a comment below, and that'll force me to do it.
Any given Monday, this has been Jacob's job since he's been here. He loves it. He loves it so much. But the grind. So we grind fresh. So we'll get our corn, rye, barley, everything we need. Let's just talk bourbon. It's over 5,000 pounds. So literally it takes him a couple days. It's hot, covered. There's a reason they call it the grind. When they say back to the grind, there's a reason. He gets it all ground, and literally it's, he's sitting there filling an auger with the raw grain, and then we catch it in bags, and we just have pallets of bags. It gets everywhere. I mean, it covers everything. Nothing you can do about it. And then any given Tuesday, we bring what we need in here, feed it into that auger, up into the mash tun, and start the process fresh. It makes a difference. Like you can buy grain pre-ground, but how long has it been ground? It's oxygen's everywhere. It's different if you grind fresh. 4 to 7 days later, I suspect it's probably done in 4 days, but to have some semblance of a life, we run 7-day cycles. Then we run both processes. So we'll empty what's in the first fermenter into the still to do a stripping run. This is the first of our 2 distillations. And then refill it by end of day with another cook here. And that we call those hell weeks. You take that mash, put it into a still, crank it up to 190 degrees, and that chemical process is going to speed up. So you're going to get a huge shot of esterification where alcohols and carboxylic acids create flavor profiles. And you get 2 shots at that, and then you put it in the barrel, and now it's, wintertime it's going to go slower, summertime it's going to go faster. But in a 2-year barrel, or in a small barrel, you got like 2 years, and that's just not enough time. to really build those flavor profiles.
We've got some really fun releases that are going to be coming. We are finally going to release our single malt that we've been working on for a long time. So that'll be coming later this year. We're also going to do 2 barrel finished bourbons. One will be in a rum barrel. That'll be our Boykin rum. That's a 4-year-old rum. And then we'll do a malt finished bourbon as well. So we're really excited about those coming along.
As of December of this past year, we started selling our products in South Carolina. So now not only in North Carolina, but South Carolina in limited markets, you can pick up our products.
So yep, that is the distillery. That's kind of what we got to see, what we got to experience. I had a great time. Can't thank them enough for allowing me to come and get a private tour like that. It's always amazing when I get to do that. I'm so lucky to be able to go to these places and meet these awesome people that are making the spirits that I love. Thanks so much for watching. If there's something that you saw in the video that you want to see more of, let me know below and we will get it done. Have a good day. Cheers.